Well, we would love to know what you think. 657-464-7609. Of course, you can absolutely every day, all the time, put us in your phone and email us a voice memo or a regular old-fashioned email to idoubt@dollemore.com.
It's the asshole of today.
Police officer, former Kyle J. Davis. Now, I have to say that this has actually been on the board the past few shows, but we've had to push it a few times. And so I had to Google, like, cop arrested filming teen in a bathroom.
Were there multiple entries?
And I struggled to find the correct one. I had to go by date to make sure it was the most recent instance. And so that's
again
a disturbing way to start this segment.
I will say I am not a cab necessarily, but certainly S-cab or M-cab.
Now, I will say I didn't open to read all of the articles. I don't know, but other things were coming up.
Yeah.
And so, so I'm hoping this is the right name. I probably should have made sure we should have listened to the clip before, but I'm pretty sure it is because the story is the same. So this cop was arrested, like I said, after I think, months-long investigation into him surreptitiously filming a teen in the bathroom of his home when she came over to his house.
Officer Kyle Davis allegedly tried to film a young girl in the bathroom of his home back in 2020. Here's video just released to us this morning of him being arrested at the Madison Police Department. You can see him walk in full uniform, including his gun. After standing there for about 15 seconds, he heads towards the door, and that is when other officers arrive and put him in handcuffs. Now, according to the child victim, who was 15 years old at the time, she was at Davis's house for a birthday party for his daughter when he blocked her from using the restroom. She says he went in first, and when she went in after he left, that's when she noticed a phone set to record buried in a pile of clothes. She recently decided to come forward after a presentation at her school about child abuse prevention. The victim told investigators she remembered the specific day it happened because she'd recently just got her learner's permit. Also in court documents, Davis first tried to say his son was responsible for the recordings. Investigators found mentions of voyeurism, spy cams, teen sex, and cheerleaders in his search history on his phone, and also 2 pictures of 8-year-old girls in their underwear. Today, bond was set at $100,000. He's due back in court for a pretrial in September and is on unpaid administrative leave from the VV Police Department. Stephen Albritton, WLWT, News 5.
That's just a whole bunch of bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it got worse and worse. He does it, then he blames his son, and then they find the other stuff on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. I think the important thing about this story, though, is that she came forward, and that she came forward after learning about sex abuse at school. And this often happens in sex education classes that Republicans try to fight against. Conservatives,
currently, right now, they are.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, this is one of the main reasons you really want your kids to be educated about sex, is so that they can recognize when abuse is happening. And we saw this again this week in the Time story that went viral about the 13-year-old that's getting ready to start 7th grade as a mother. She had a baby. She was raped when she was 12 by a stranger in her front yard in Mississippi, and she got pregnant. And her mom believes that, part of the reason she didn't come and tell her mom what happened, and she didn't understand what was happening to her body when she was pregnant, is because she didn't have the sex education. She didn't know that what had happened to her could potentially lead to a pregnancy.
Yeah.
And so there's so many reasons that it is important for people to have sex education, and not some puritanical, weird sex education like Elizabeth Smart speaks out against, where they told her, Elizabeth Smart being the young girl who was kidnapped out of her bedroom 20 years ago in Utah, the Mormon girl. She talks about her experiences in sex education when she was younger, and her teacher telling her that having sex is like...
Before you're married.
Having sex before you're married is like getting chewed, like you're a piece of gum and you're getting chewed up. And who wants a chewed up piece of gum? You can YouTube this. She has talked about it many times. And imagine someone getting kidnapped and raped And
Yeah.
then thinking about that, their sex ed teacher telling them
Because I'm
that.
useless now. I'm unwanted now. I'm gross now.
Right, and that's how she felt. And so
Yeah.
it's important to have fact-based education so that kids know when abuse happens to them, including from a cop when
Yeah.
you're at their house for a birthday party.
A man who had the power to detain, arrest, usurp the freedoms of while an armed agent of the state. Policing in America doesn't just have a problem because of who we've hired. It's who we continue to hire, and this is just another case of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'd love to know what you think. If you're in his municipality, we'd really love to know if you know who this is. 657-464-7609. Of course, you can email a voice memo from your smartphone to idoubt@dollemore.com.